The first screen you're presented with is this one here, and all you need to do is click Start here. This will bring you to the login screen where you just input your username and your password which you were issued with and click Login. This will then take you to Form 1, which is your profile page, and if you can just fill out the fields here with your region, organization, position and so on, and contact details at the bottom, then just click on Submit Step 1. This brings us to our Form 2, which is our classifications, and in here we've got the choice to select the nature of our operations. So we, for example, need to select our distance offshore, which we normally operate. That could be operations near shore, 30 minutes to a safe haven, 1 hour from a safe haven, etc. So just select the worst case scenario. As in the case for distance offshore, that will be MFC area A2. Then coming down to visibility, you do likewise. And for example, in this case, we'll have 1 hour to a safe haven. Sea state, we'll have large waves, some risk of capsize or broach, and the wave height is equal to the beam of the vessel. Your speed is, let's have an example, medium speed, semi-displacement. Now operational complexity down here, we've got some exclusive selections, one or the other. So we've got casualties, a small number of casualties and a higher number of casualties, one or the other. So we select one of those or the other, and if we also wish, we can select between simple towing operations and offshore towing salvage operations. And we can also select hazmat and firefighting operations. Then under local conditions, we can select extreme heat, extreme cold, and we can select one or the other of those. And then we can also select navigation hazard, depth hazard, or crowded operational area. If you make a mistake, or particularly if you're having difficulty in changing your selections, you can always just choose the option to clear all of these selections. Once that's done, press Submit to Step 2. Now here we have a table of events which may be relevant to your organization. So whichever you deem to be appropriate, you can just select from the list. So for example, capsize, fire, rescue casualty on board a vessel, towing perhaps, helicopter operations, etc. So once you've selected as many as you feel is appropriate, you can click Submit Step 3. You'll be directed to this web page where you can see a summary of your risk mitigation advisories, which were dependent upon the criteria you selected earlier. You can indicate if these advisories are required by your organization, already implemented, or not required. If you click IMRF Assistance, this will send a flag to the advisory group telling them that you have a problem with this particular mitigation advisory, and someone will be in contact to assist. This suggestion box is a development tool whereby we need your help to ensure that the content is suitable for your organization. Sending suggestions through this feature will alert the advisory group to an issue with the specific field you've selected, and appropriate action will be taken. We also see this function being used as an international lessons learned communication method, which will ensure that the rescue boat guidelines remain dynamic and current. And once you send a submission, you should receive an acknowledgement that says your submission has been received by the advisory group. There you go. So work your way through the list, indicating what's required, not required, etc. You can fill in as many as you like. You don't have to complete the entire list in one go. You've always got the option to scroll to the bottom of the page and click Save this result. Once you've clicked the Save this result button, you're directed through to a screen like this, and it summarizes your selections. So we can see here again our risk mitigations, and we selected required. Now importantly, we've got our risk rating. So here we've got P2, tolerable only if risk reduction is impractical or if penalties are disproportionate to the improvement gained. So if you hover over each P rating, it gives you a detailed description of its significance. P1 being the most urgent for action, P4 being the least urgent for action. Now you'll also notice that down here we have got suggestions submitted. So this just reminds us which advisories we have submitted our suggestions for. Okay, so these are all our recommendations, and it's important if we see up here for training. These are our training recommendations. If we come up, we can select our recommendations for equipment. And we can also select our recommendations for procedures. And we've got an identical system for choosing our required, already implemented, not required, etc. for each of these three categories. And you can easily chop between one and the other simply by using the drop-down menu. It is important to note that you can visit any one of the forms in any order, going backwards and forwards, as long as you've saved your information by clicking the button at the bottom of the screen. But please note, if you're operating under the equipment or procedures profile, you are unable to make any changes to the classifications table or indeed to your events. You must be operating under your training profile only to make any amendments to these tables. And the reasons for this is quite simply that when you alter this table, they do have effects and will change your selections under equipment and procedures. And therefore, we want everyone to be aware that by making an alteration, it will impact on the other two profiles. Once you're ready, you can sort the list into what you need to action by pressing the sort button. And this will categorize your sections into required, already implemented, not required, and what you've sought IMRF assistance with. You'll also notice that the priority ratings, P1, P2, are also ranked with P1 at the top and P4 at the bottom of each section. We've also included a show as PDF function, so clicking that will download the list in a PDF format which you can print out. And then simply to return back to the main list, click on the back icon.